All right, indeed, it is Dirty Air. We are going on a Thursday. We got lots to do today, friends. Welcome back in. Where the short trackers gather. I'm glad you're a part of the program right here on Racing America. Alan Dietz, Taylor Kitchen, Dustin Smith, all of them are going to join us. But as I teased you guys, man, we have something really special happening right about now. Oh my goodness, we were going to have this dude on last week, couldn't do it, but I'm even happier that I'm doing it on Thursday tonight. Welcome in to the Dirty Air, my man, once again, Bubba Pollard. Bubba, how you doing, man?
Good. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, my friend. So, Bubba, I got to ask you, dude. I was gonna talk to you about everything that you've been doing with the super late models and so forth and so on, but how in the hell did this thing come about? I see that you're going to be racing with Junior Motorsports in the '88. Kind of walk me through how all this happened.
Yeah, it's kind of man, it's kind of all happened fast and by surprise. Really, I mean, it was kind of unexpected. Really unexpected. Just man, I got a call after the Derby and said, "Hey, do you want to do this deal we're trying to put together um, at Junior with Ream and things like that?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, I ain't gonna turn down the opportunity." So it's pretty neat the way it all went down, and I couldn't ask for a better place than to do it at Junior Motorsports because I really feel like it's like kind of how our team is and how I was brought up,
Mhm.
and just laid back atmosphere, good old boy racing. So it's pretty cool, and just very thankful for the opportunity to get to run at Richmond here in a couple weeks, and
Yep.
and hopefully we can go have some fun and make the best of it.
That's right. It'll be on Easter weekend, March 31st, there at Richmond. So, your thoughts diving into one of these cars? Yeah, you haven't been in an Xfinity car, right? I mean, this is this particular car. This is going to be a whole different thing for you.
Yeah, I really don't have much heavy car experience with the Xfinity car. Absolutely nothing. But
Yeah.
we run some ARCA races in the past, which are very similar. But it's been years ago, so we're going to kind of get our feet wet back at New Smyrna. Oh, not New Smyrna. I'm sorry, Pensacola Five
Yeah.
Flags. Um, Here in a couple weeks to run the ARCA race for those for Five Flags are there, and then run our Super late model on Sunday. So we're excited about that. Get back in the swing of things and see, picking up the heavy car with the steering and the braking and throttle input and everything like that. The tires are a good bit different than what we're accustomed to. So we'll see. Hopefully, we can take as much information, data, we can collect it all, and I can put it to good use on the 30th.
No doubt. How big a deal for you? I mean, it's one thing to get to race in the Xfinity Series, but to race the '88 car for Junior,
Yeah,
that's got to be pretty damn big right there.
yeah, it is. It's iconic.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so it's very special. Never would have dreamed we got the opportunity that we're getting. Um, I wouldn't say I've given up on it, but you just as you get older in life, you never think it's going to happen. It never happened when I feel like early on in my career, and kind of took a different route of what or turn the focus of what we're doing now, and um, I enjoy what I do. I have fun, and that's the biggest thing is hopefully we can go into Richmond and have some fun because that's the most important. When you're having fun, the results will come. When you put a lot of pressure and you're nervous and things like that, kind of tend to make some mistakes at times. But
Sure.
we're gonna go out there and do the best we can and see how it goes.
But how big for you? I mean, because you carry the torch for us. I mean, we short track guys. I mean, you are the one that when we talk about the best of them all, you are the one. You are doing something here that everybody dreams of. I mean, how cool is that for you to take short track racing to that big level right there, where it's like that's our fucking guy right there, racing on TV for Junior Motorsports.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. Um, I hope I can make the short track community proud and represent them well and go out there and have a good run. But I mean, it is special. You know, to us, not only me, but the people who
Yeah,
have helped me through the years. I couldn't have done it without all those guys' help
yeah.
along the way. I've definitely learned a lot off of people, and you know had had some great guidance. So it is cool. I mean, hopefully, it just shows you that any racer out there that just kind of don't give up. The kind of unexpected may happen, and I'm not saying we're going to do this forever or get a shot, but to get to say we've done it one time, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty excited. All right, to the short track stuff. I mean, it's been a good start for you with everything here the first couple of months. So we've got the Rattler coming up. I'll be seeing you there again. Hopefully, you can repeat that one. Kind of talk about the short track program, man. You are all over it right now, looking really, really good here starting out.
Yeah, we've had a good start to the season. Hopefully, we can keep it going, man. There's nothing better than to get on the hot streak right here, and it's liable to end at any minute. You just never
Yeah.
know when it's over, and when it's over, it usually goes south fast. So, I mean, hopefully we can keep it going. We're working hard, and everyone that's associated that's on the side of the race car work hard to provide us to what we need to make our race cars go fast. So, yeah, we've been now that we've been back in the Signature performance race cars,
Hmm.
we've gone back to these places for the second time with this new design car, and it's really paying off. I feel like we've got a good notebook to really build off of. The tires are a bit different. We've had to change a few things up,
Yep.
but for the most part, we've been able to you know have good notes to rely on, to fall back on, and to go to these racetracks for the second time. I think that's the difference, and to start off the year strong here.
Yep, no doubt. Last part for you, Bubba. And again, thanks for jumping on Dirty Air right here with the breaking news that you've been a part of. Your racetrack there in Sonoya, Crate Racing USA, that Rogers Dab Chevrolet presenting this interview tonight. Kind of talk about all of that with everything you're doing there at your family-owned racetrack.
Yeah, man, we got a big event coming up this weekend with the Ray Cook Southern Nationals tour coming in. I think they're at Waycross tonight tonight. Swainsboro on Friday, and then 10,000 to win here at our place on Saturday, and I think 20 to win at Gaffney on Sunday. So we're excited about that to get our year started off. Hopefully the weather holds off, and we can have a good weekend. So everybody's anxious to get back to racing around here um, with the dirt track. So it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. We enjoy it. We got some good people, good partners along the way to help us out and make all that possible. So we got at the end of the year, we got our Peach State Classic, the second, third weekend in November that we have every year. We've been bitten by rain the last couple of years, but we're excited to do that again. Big event with Flow Racing, Flow Castro event. So yeah, just hopefully everyone get online, check it out. Sonoma Raceway 1969. Come on out. We had the American Flat Track series here, motorcycles here in a couple weeks. We're excited about that. That's a big event for us to get going, start the year off.
No doubt about it. There he is, Bubba Pollard, diving in here on Dirty Air as we break in, heading to the Xfinity Series behind the wheel of the number 88 Junior Motorsports. Man, iconic race car. And, of course, everything that he'll be doing. And we'll see him at the Rattler very soon. Bubba, thanks for taking the time, my man. I appreciate you doing this, and good luck, man. Proud of what you're doing.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You got it, man. Take care. How big is that right there? I mean, there is no bigger way to start this program today as we dive in. Welcome to Dirty Air. And it was a situation there where got the chance to talk to Bubba. And, man, so excited in the sense that, it's you get your guy. I mean, we get our guy that's going to be checking in. And, again, you guys can check in. Plenty of comments right there coming in. We've got Jennifer, my friend Jennifer Brinson checking in. I mean, folks talking about Five Flags Speedway. I mean, this really is our dude, man. This is our guy when we talk about getting to go race on the big show right there. Getting called up. It's like I'm a baseball guy. I've worked in baseball for a lot of years, and it's like, when you get the call to the show, and it's one of those things to where Bubba Pollard should have gotten the call to the show a long damn time ago. And he gets the call right here, and he gets the call. He's going to play. I mean, at this point, he's going to play for the Yankees. I mean, I know the Yankees aren't what they used to be, but he's getting that call right there. Again, the show presented by Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet GM Performance. And, of course, our friends at On Demand Shirts. I am sporting the On Demand shirts gear myself. And we are getting ready to dive in once again right there with Bubba Pollard getting us started. And we welcome to the show right here on Racing America, and just a monumental day for we short track folks. It is my man AD Alan Dietz. Alan, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. So kind of that conversation right there with Bubba, man. That's a big deal, don't you think? I mean that's our bridge over to the big time right there when we get our dude that's going to go over and race in a great car in one of those big time series.
Yeah, it's huge, and I'm so glad that he's doing your show tonight. And we were able to talk to him and get a bullring hot lap posted earlier today, um, which I was very happy about. Now he's done a lot today between my stuff, your stuff, some stuff with Dirty Mo. I mean, he's been on a couple of things, and I really appreciate it because I know it's been kind of a whirlwind for him, but it's a huge opportunity, and he said he kind of felt like his at least he had kind of aged out, and you think about Jonathan Davenport, getting that opportunity at Bristol last year on the dirt. But I think this is way different because Bubba is familiar with heavy cars. He's a short track racer. These are good race cars. We've seen how good Dale Jr. and other drivers have been in that '88 car, and I expect him to go out there and contend for the win. I don't think that's too far out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a perfect racetrack for him, to be honest with you. That they put him on that racetrack, that 3/4 mile kind of races, just like the stuff that we get to race on. Alan, lots of different things that I want to talk to you about. I know we're in a very short time period here, but you kind of mentioned something right there, talking about JD, talking about Davenport, and of course on Racing America, you can get a good variety of everything and streamers. There's lots of content. Why, in your opinion, do you think that there is always this divide between asphalt and dirt when it comes to short track racing? I mean, we're all in the same game, right, my man? I mean, we're all in the same thing together, to rob a Disney thing there. But damn it, I'm tired of that divide. We just need to work together, it seems like.
Well, even in the Carolinas, I mean, I know late model stock people that hate super late models and super late model folks that hate late model stocks, and you get it with pavement modified fans in the Northeast, and I don't understand it. I grew up going to dirt races. When I was about 8 years old, they paved all the racetracks in my area, and we went to those tracks. And then as I got older, I went to both. And as long as I see a good race and there's a decent car count, on a weekly show on a 4/10 mile racetrack. If you've got 10 or more cars, you can have a good race. And I don't, I've never understood that, but there's people that are dead set if they watch dirt or if they watch pavement that they're not going to watch the other.
Yeah, no doubt, and that's a shame. That's a shame. We just need to do this all together. Let's talk about this weekend, the Alabama 200 coming up, the hunt for the bear. I know that there's been some weather questions. I saw some stuff there from the racetrack. It looks like everything seems to be okay, but you never know with Mama Nature. This race obviously will be on Racing America, but man, we got them stacked up in the pro late models. This one looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I know Stan Narrison and Bill Roth, he'll be on the call there, and I talked to him yesterday, and they really think that this is as strong a lineup roster as we've ever seen for the Alabama 200. I mean, you got Stephen Nancy and Casey Roderick coming from super late models, and Jake Finch will be driving that Ronnie Sanders car that's been so good at Montgomery, and then you got these pro late models that race in the Southeast that'll all be competitive. And I think it's going to be a great race. I think the weather is going to cooperate, like you said. And if you're out in Alabama or, in Florida or Georgia, I hope you can get there. But if not, you can watch it on Racing America if you're a subscriber. And likewise, the must-see wing sprint cars have got humongous race down at Citrus County in Florida on Saturday, and that race is also going to be on Racing America. And the great thing is that if you watch one, you can go back on demand and watch the other one. So it's not like you have to pick between one or the other. And we got a lot of great stuff coming up. You'll be at the Rattler at South Alabama for us, and got the Easter Bunny at Hickory, and we really get going on Racing America this weekend, and a ton of races for subscribers this year, including the Rattler. And all you got to do is go to racingamerica.tv if you're not already a subscriber, and you can either be a monthly subscriber or a yearly subscriber. But when you look at our rates compared to the other streaming companies out there, we're almost giving it away, to tell you the truth. But these allow us to be able to go back to these track operators and promoters and be able to give them some money to stream the races, which that's what, that's just part of it now. And I feel like we got a great lineup this year. The races at Five Flags will be back, including the Blizzard Series, and just a really strong year. And we've got some other big things that we've almost announced everything, but we got a couple other big things that hopefully we could announce here in the next couple of weeks.
Yep, no doubt. Alan, one of the things I saw yesterday, the UARA, United Auto Racing Alliance, right there, that's a change right there. And again, I mean, we're not teasing anybody. There's been a divide between different things right there. When you use the word alliance, I mean, that's one of those things to where we are trying to align. We're talking about dirt. We're talking about pavement. We're talking about super late models and everything. I think we're finally going in the right direction here, and we need to be, because it's cost effective. It's better for the consumer. It's better for the end user. I think we got something going on here that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and the SRL folks are going to focus more back on the Southwest Tour stuff, and I know Ricky Brooks is stepping away from the road racing stuff to concentrate on UARA and Cordeal. And you might have saw on Facebook and Twitter yesterday that photo I posted, and the reason I did that is the original UARA that carried. Oh my God!
I was waiting. I was just going to drop it on you, but you set me up, my man.
Yeah, well, that's a good-looking devil right there. I'll tell you, he knew how to have a good time back in the day. But I was the first UARA announcer back in 2002, and I announced with them from 2002 to 2007, and it was late model stocks, and then started announcing for PASS, in 2006. And that was a good couple of years because I was doing PASS and UARA. But I love that name. I love that legacy, and I see a lot of good things coming out of the UARA National and the UARA Sportsman.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's some good things that's going to be happening. Alan, man, thank you so much for jumping on here. Like I said, monumental day with the Bubba Pollard thing. I think it's a good day to be doing Dirty Air because, man, we've got our dude making his way to the show. Really cool stuff. Looking forward to all the good stuff that we have coming up here on Racing America and doing this again more often with you, my man.
Yes, and you do a great job. We love Dirty Air. I appreciate everything that you do for Racing America and your excitement for Racing America. And I'm looking forward to hearing what Bubba has to say now at the end of this crazy day.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I bet you he's probably having a cold beer by now. Don't you think?
He's had a hell of a 2024 so far, is all I can tell you. And we're only at the end of February. So
yeah,
if this is any indication on how the rest of his year is going to go, he's going to win the Xfinity race. He's going to win the Snowball Derby. And it's just going to be a great year for him the way it looks.
And I got to give you hell. You've got all that good-looking Chiefs gear right there behind you. I've got a Dallas Cowboy montage here behind me. So,
well, just so people know that I'm not fair weather.
That's right.
That is Joe Montana. Wait,
love it.
There it is.
Yep, right there.
So I've been a Chiefs fan for a long time and endured a lot of crap, and I'm shocked that I'm actually on the winning side for once, and I'm going to enjoy it Well, hopefully as long as Patrick Mahomes plays,
Hey.
so maybe it'll be for a while.
Yeah, live it up. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's going to keep on rolling. Alan, thanks, my man. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being a part of Dirty Air this evening.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the show.
You got it, brother. Take care. There he is, Alan Dietz. You can catch him on the Bull Ring. It's every other week that he and Jess Ballard dive in there and they break down the world of short track racing on Wednesdays. I always like it because it's a prelude right into my show coming up here on Thursdays. So really cool stuff there. So if you missed the breaking news, and I'm sure that you probably saw it, Bubba Pollard will be behind the wheel of the number 88 Junior Motorsports Chevrolet coming up at Richmond on March the 31st. So behind the wheel right there on the Xfinity Series, and our man BP jumping into a great ride to be a part of that. A couple of topics you guys can chime in throughout the program, because there are, like Bubba was recorded, there's some recorded stuff, but the show is actually live as we're going on. Topics I wanted to talk about this evening. Obviously, I've been talking about it throughout the show, throughout season 3 right here. The local track spotlight. Shout out your racetracks. You guys can email me at dirtyairracingshow@gmail.com because I want to talk to your promoters. I want to talk to your racers. I want to talk to the guys that make your racetrack pop. But as the show's going on right here, you can drop your comments in there. I'd love to flash them up on the screen. If you got an opening weekend, whatever that's coming up, especially now that we are on this extra day of February 29th, by the way. Tomorrow is March, I think. Yeah, rent's due. So drop those comments there. And again, email me there so I can showcase your racetracks right here on Dirty Air, on the Dirty Air Racing Show. That question that I asked Alan right there, why is there always a divide between asphalt and dirt? We should be working together, especially in a situation like this where we see that the biggest name in asphalt racing is about to go racing in one of the biggest asphalt series of them all. We get excited when Jonathan Davenport, like Alan mentioned right there, when he's doing these things, we get excited about that. We need to be excited about both of them, whether it's dirt or asphalt or both, whatever. We need to be cool about that. Also, I want your breakout drivers of 2024. If there's a driver that's kind of been floating behind the scenes right there, whether it be at a local track or one of these series that you think is going to be something really, really big this season, I want you to drop their name right there, and we'll talk about that as well. Dirty Air, where the short trackers gather. Going to step away for just a minute. When we come back, we are going to talk some NASCAR, because we have to talk NASCAR after what we just saw in Hot Atlanta. Hot Atlanta gave us a damn good race, and we're going to break that one down with Taylor Kitchen, TobyChristie.com, and Above the Yellow Line. That is coming up next. Clean air is good. Times like this, dirty air just a tad bit better. Stick around, friends. Off and rolling one more time on Dirty Air right here on Racing America on your Thursday. What a better way to spend your Thursday than on Racing America and in the dirty air. We always talk about the clean air being good, but I always say dirty air is good when it comes to Thursdays right here at this time. And, of course, dirty air is where the short trackers gather. But yeah, we've been talking short track, and we're going to continue to talk some short track, but we've got to talk some NASCAR, because we just saw something this past weekend that was unbelievable. Unbelievable what we saw. And so I'm going to the source to talk NASCAR, Above the Yellow Line Media, the Above the Yellow Line podcast, and, of course, from TobyChristie.com. It is Taylor Kitchen joining me here in the dirty air. Taylor, how you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So Taylor, I want to ask you first of all, before we get into, and we can talk about Daytona, and obviously we'll talk about Atlanta. I want to get your thoughts because I like the Atlanta configuration. I miss the old Atlanta. I miss all of that. But it seems like there had been a lot of back and forth with that. I know the first race there was like, oh, it's great. And then some people were kind of sour. Your thoughts on all of that scuttlebutt about what Atlanta was and what Atlanta is now?
So when I started watching NASCAR, it was 2016. So I saw Atlanta towards the end of its time. And I remember the last time we raced there at the old surface and the track just started coming up and Kurt Busch won it. And I'm like, yeah, it's time to go. I enjoyed the racing there. But here's the thing. We get a finish like we had this past weekend. In my rankings, I do my own ranking on my show. Yeah. My favorite race last year was the Atlanta race in the summer, with all the rain shortened stuff. And I mean, it just produces such fun racing. So it's really hard for me to not like the new Atlanta configuration, given what we've gotten from that so far. So I understand the love for the old configuration. I still love it. But what we have now is something really special.
Yeah, I agree. And I know a lot of the knee-jerk reaction initially was because I'm in Texas. So I've got TMS, several miles down the road. But it's like, okay, we need to do this to all of the mile and a halves. I don't think that's the case. I like just one. And
correct.
I think it's its own little distinct animal right now.
Exactly. Yeah, I really do like how we have something unique with Atlanta where it's the mile and a half, but it races like a super speedway. Yeah. I look to Michigan as well. It's not a super speedway, but it's like a 2-miler. It kind of races like one. We're going to see the Xfinity series with a super speedway package. So I feel like, though, I know there's talks about maybe reconfiguring Texas for a super speedway. I don't know, but I like keeping the tracks the way they are right now in terms of which ones race like a super speedway, which ones don't. And I think Atlanta is that perfect spot for us to where it's still an intermediate, but it's like it's like Daytona on steroids, essentially.
Yeah, it really is kind of a hybrid thing. I mean, you never know what you're gonna get with that. So
exactly,
I love the way listening to your show. I love the way you describe Daytona, the 500. So let's first talk about Daytona. Coming out of that, I know we had the ending there, and of course, people are always going to have an opinion about how these things end or how they race or whatever. Let's first talk about Daytona. Your thoughts to kick the season off there in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, on my show, I called it the Funky 500. It was just weird, and I've used that term so many times, but it was a 500 unlike I've ever seen before. And the fact with the end of the race just kind of felt like a lull. And then the fuel strategy that we had, and listening to a lot of drivers, like I think Eric Jones was very adamant on being like, we got to change this. I don't know what we do, but drivers were really just cruising the entire time because that caution at the very beginning of the race on lap 4 kind of messed up strategy for a lot of teams. And then you had 3 drivers that stayed out and everyone else was just kind of forced to follow suit until they had to pit. So in a way, it felt like this Daytona race, it felt more manipulated in the sense that the fuel mileage was very apparent. Right. As in the past. And that's what I think made it very odd for me. And then, of course, the end of the race when the yellow was thrown out and seeing all of that, it kind of felt like a huge buildup for this great event. And then kind of a dud at the end, which was pretty unfortunate. Regardless, though, I thought it was a pretty decent race. I didn't dislike it at all. But as opposed to 500s in the past, I was like, oh, all right, cool. Let's just move on to Atlanta. That's fine. So that was the overall thought and feeling that I had with that race.
I love the Funky 500. I actually said
Thank you.
I said that to a friend of mine, and they're like, man, that's pretty cool. I'm like, I did not make that up. I'm sorry. I did not come up with that. So then we go to Atlanta. And so with this one, I think Atlanta gave us everything. I mean, the race was good. I know a lot of folks say, well, I kind of doze off at certain points. I mean, maybe there was a little bit where you could have dozed off or done whatever. But this race gave us 48 lead changes. This race gave us competitive racing throughout the field, and this hellacious finish at the end. Break this one down for us, Taylor.
I mean, it really all started with 5 laps to go when we had that restart with a late race caution. And my first gut reaction was, this better stay green till the end, because if it doesn't, I'm going to be so mad. Because the whole race, we didn't have a lot of 3-wide racing, but it was very intense side-by-side battles. So you have Ryan Blaney on the top of the track. You have Daniel Suarez leading the bottom line. And Daniel Suarez seems to get a really good run. Doesn't quite get the edge over Ryan Blaney, who just is able to charge on the top. And then after that, they're just kind of trading back and forth. And then Kyle Busch comes into the mix with 1 to go. and he puts his car right in the middle, and he has no help. Bubba Wallace, who was behind Ryan Blaney, who was then on the bottom, he had no help either. So it was just a drag race to the line. And then at the end of the day, 3/1000ths of a second over Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez comes out victorious. I mean, what a win for him. First of all, I know last season wasn't the season that 99 team wanted. If you look at the success of his teammate Ross Chastain and what he was able to do. But man, to see Daniel Suarez, middle of the race, being a factor, and then at the end, just taking it to Ryan Blaney, who was dominant all day. Kyle Busch, who had struggles a lot of the race, but was able to bounce back. That was super cool. And then, of course, you see social media blowing up over all of this. And it's such a big win for the sport and the fans, into the Netflix crowd that came in watching the sport for the first time. So a fantastic finish, in the third closest finish in NASCAR history, which is awesome.
And Taylor, wasn't this nice because you had the race that happened? I mean, we had everything, the finish that you just described so perfectly. Kyle Busch was, he seemed excited. I mean, obviously he wanted to win, but he was like,
right.
wow, that was cool. Ryan Blaney was blown away. And of course, Suarez. Wasn't it really nice to have a race like this? And these guys, maybe they leaned on each other a little bit, but you didn't have any wrecks. You didn't have any controversy. You didn't have any of that. The only controversy was who won, because it was that dadgum close.
It is so refreshing to have a race where you can just sit back and say, wow, I am so lucky to be a NASCAR fan.
Right.
I'm so lucky to be in the sport and to have the product that we have. You know, there's always motorsports fans outside of NASCAR that are like, you know, Formula One's the best, IndyCar's the best, whatever. And everyone argues. But this is a time where I think everyone can come together, whether you're a fan of NASCAR or not, and say, that is pretty darn cool. And having the storyline not being a penalty, I know Joey Logano's penalty was a factor for some storylines, but for the storyline to be the finish of this race was something that nobody could argue about. It was just so incredible that it left me walking away from this race just a breath of fresh air. It was so wonderful.
Same. Yeah, you know, because it always is. You know, you look at social media after a NASCAR race and it's like, oh man, here we go. Here we go. But everything was positive, Taylor. Even people, you know, I have so many friends in the short track circle that I hate NASCAR, but yet they see everything, you know, kind of one of those things that they don't watch. But had folks reaching out saying that was a classic. I mean, that, like you said, really cool to get to see something like that actually happen right in front of our eyes.
Absolutely, for sure.
So as we head over to Vegas, and of course there's probably going to be a letdown. I'm just telling people right now, we're not going to get that again, most likely. But as we go to race number 3, is there anything that any driver, any team that has surprised you, and on the same token, maybe has disappointed you as we get to this point? I know it's been 2 super speedway races of sort, but now's when we really start to shake stuff out.
Yeah, when I look at Las Vegas, I look at Team Penske. You know, they brought the 3 strongest cars the past 2 races, weren't able to get the win. I look at, in particular, Joey Logano right now, who has wrecked out of the past 2 races, but has had arguably the strongest car, has qualified on the pole for one of them. But he's historically very good at Las Vegas. I would say Ryan Blaney, he goes back and forth with Vegas, but last year did pretty darn well in the fall. So I would expect to see Penske pick it up. I am curious to see how Austin Cindric can do. He's had a great past 2 weeks. So looking at Penske to overall do well. I also look at Kyle Busch. He has a great history at this track as well, with, you know, RCR's equipment at the 1.5 miles and just trying to have him transition over into that. I look to see him hopefully do well. I am curious, though, at this point to look at the Fords and the Toyotas, because now we're at a 1.5 miles. We're at a quote unquote normal track with the new body styles. This will kind of be the test, giving me a lay of the land to see, okay, how well do these cars actually perform? Did they really put a focus into these 1.5 miles when they made these body designs? Or were they focused on more of a super speedway? Were they focused on more of a short track? So it's going to be a real test to see what racing we see at Vegas in terms of Toyota and Ford. But definitely keeping my eye on those Penske boys and, of course, Kyle Busch.
Yeah, kind of back to reality, back to the grind, I guess, if we want to call it that. You mentioned that Netflix crowd. Isn't it really cool that now NASCAR has that? I know that there was an attempt before at doing something, but having watched the Netflix deal myself, I mean, I was really intrigued by it. I think this is something where it's really pulling people in, and then, hell, you have that finish that we just had. Definitely a lot of momentum, it seems like, for the sport right now.
Yeah, it's so positive, and I mean, I'm chronically online. It's so bad. I need to take a break from my phone, but I see so many folks that usually make Formula One content, that usually make even to like IMSA content, and they're making NASCAR content. They're talking about the finish of this race. They're getting in on that conversation, and that's so positive for us. I've had so many people come to my channel saying, "I'm from the UK, I'm from Australia," and I'm like, "That's insane." Just because one, we've had those drivers that are international come into the sport, but two, they're like, "Hey, I saw NASCAR's full speed, and that's pretty neat." And it really did give these drivers that we kind of feel don't have personality. It gave them a personality, like William Byron, Christopher Bell, and they're becoming superstars, fan favorites. So overall, a big win for the sport, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we do get a season 2.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I like that it was more in real time.
Yes.
You weren't a year behind trying to figure out everything that was going on. Lastly, Taylor, I know you've been with us here on Racing America before on the Bull Ring with Alan and Jess, but tell folks where to find all of your great work, because you've got some of the best dadgum content that you're going to find.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Well, make sure to check out AboveTheYellowLine.com. That's where you can find all about us at ATYL. Check out us and the ATYL crew. We do live streams, things like that. But where you can find our social media pages at Above the Yellow Line and at _Taylor Kitchen _ is all on AboveTheYellowLine.com.
Love it. Great stuff. Taylor, thank you for joining me in the dirty air right here on Racing America. Gonna have to have you back. I need a go-to NASCAR person, and I think you are the perfect person. I hope you enjoy the race this weekend.
Thanks so much, Rodney.
Thanks, Taylor. Dirty Air back on Racing America. Great conversation right there with Taylor Kitchen, talking about the Atlanta finish and just something really cool. I mean, that's one of those to where we've seen a lot of good finishes at Atlanta when it comes to NASCAR stuff. I mean, we can go back to the Harvick and the Bobby Labonte and the Jeff Gordon finishes and so forth and so on. And like Taylor and I were talking about right there, I mean, a lot of folks have kind of gotten soured on Atlanta, but yeah, I kind of like the way the place races. It's a really cool thing, guys. Trying to catch up on some comments right here. Matt Cooper checking in and still talking about Bubba Pollard, and Bubba checking in right at the first part of the program. If you missed that, Bubba Pollard will be racing on March 31st at Richmond behind the wheel of the iconic number 88 Junior Motorsports. Matt, Bubba is the king of the short track late model, so smooth on the track. I tell you, we talk about it all the time. It's Bubba Pollard doing Bubba Pollard things, and that seems to be what he does. I mean, we saw it in the Clyde Hart 200 Memorial 200 happening there at New Smyrna. He methodically worked his way through the field and just did what he does, and that's what Bubba does. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him behind the wheel. Dustin Smith coming up here in just a couple of minutes. We'll bring him onto the program as soon as we get him ready to go. This is super cool to me right here. So the reach that we talk about, whether it comes to short track racing, I know Max Calles was with me last week on the show, and we were talking about just kind of everything with short track racing, with NASCAR Mexico, with NASCAR Brazil. This right here is very much a response, a live text to the program from Luis that is in Spanish. And what he is telling us right here is that you've got stock cars 2025 that, with Chevrolets and Toyotas and Fords and Brazil, that they are testing on the Charlotte Roval. So that's the reach that we're talking about. That's the reach that we want right there. with that kind of stuff right there. I mean, that's exactly what we're wanting. And the fact that we're doing this show, the fact that we are on Racing America this evening and that we're doing this, and we have, I mean, Luis is checking in right there and telling us that, I mean, damn, how can you go wrong? Talked about Jennifer Brinson earlier, just one of the best people in racing. When I was talking about breakout drivers and so forth, Luke Fenthouse, a great announcement this week with some stuff there with Thor Sport. I mean, that is tremendous for another great race car driver with Luke Fenthouse. So a good opportunity there for him to be able to dive in and get to do some really cool stuff. So keep that stuff coming. Again, those topics right there, your local short tracks. I want to hear about them again. You can send them to me. And we can spotlight them on the program, talking to a promoter, to your top dog, or whatever you want to call it. Dirty Air Racing Show at gmail.com. It is the 2024 local track spotlight right here on Racing America. All right, let's dive back in talking about local dudes. But this dude's not really local. I mean, he's local to a lot of us. But this guy travels around and does a lot of good things. And man, I like to see that number 33 on the racetrack. Let's the prognosis right here of what's going on. He's in the shop right now. My man, Dustin Smith. Dustin, how we doing?
What's going on, Mr. Rodney?
Man, I'm just glad to have you a part of the show, man. So I'd love your thoughts. I mean, because I was talking about that. You're a short track dude. We're all short track people. That's what this show is all about. But when you get that, when you see that thing like Bubba Pollard going to race the Xfinity Series in one of those cars, man, that's pretty badass for all of us.
Yeah, it's definitely it kind of puts short track on the on the map, especially Bo Pollard. He's probably one of the greatest that's been in short track racing here 10 years, 15 years for sure. I'm glad to see somebody like him to actually make it and have a shot.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, Dustin, let's dig into you. You're at the race shop right there. Let's talk about 2024 so far. Thoughts as we're just dipping our toes in, dude. We're just getting started right now.
Yeah, we're kind of slow right now. We're hoping to be able to make it to the Rattler. We're a little shallow on some motors right now. We had them ship off probably 3-4 weeks ago. Hoping to get them back next week, get the cars fixed up. Alex Query, he's been doing a hell of a job on all of our cars, setting them up and making them go faster on the racetrack. So, yeah, I mean, I think we got a pretty big schedule this year. Going to try to run, the Southern Super Series, all of them. Not doing a bunch of crate racing, but we're going to try to run every race at Mobile International Speedway this year. And maybe some Pensacola races. Not sure, but I'm pretty much focused on the Super this year.
Yeah, and talk about that part. I mean, because it does get to be a bunch. I mean, I know with you, I mean, you've got every damn kind of car there is. I mean, so to kind of hone everything back in and really focus on the Super, that's got to help, right? Because I mean, whether it's a pro, whether it's modified, a truck, whatever, to just hone in on that SLM, that's got to make it just a little bit easier in a lot of ways.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a lot of dedication and focus to run these supercars and be competitive at it. So we talked over the off season, and we figured if we was going to race, we'd run the supercar. And our program's pretty good, but I wanted to run more super races and be more competitive in the supercar than the crate cars this year. So Dad made the change, and we're going to run pretty much every super race that the Southern Super Series has, and not so much as many crate races.
Yeah. And Dustin, kind of talk about that difference. I mean, obviously I help sell crate engines, but kind of the difference right there when you get into Super, I mean, that's one where it's all in the foot, man. You control that thing. With the pro, with the crate, whatever, it's momentum, and you're just kind of hanging on right there. That damn supercar, man, that's the one to drive.
Yeah, for sure. It's like two of those Roger Dabb crate motors strapped in that supercar. But it's a lot of focus and it takes a lot of, I wouldn't say talent, but I mean it takes a lot to actually be competitive in the supercars. I just feel like it's more competitive and a more of a strategy, and more it puts a lot more on me as a driver to drive the supercars, because you're having to you're having to drive the car with a throttle, you're having to save tires, you're having to do it so much more in a supercar than you would do a pro car.
Yeah. Dustin, I had Mr. Eddie on Dirty Air here last week, and we just kind of talking about Mobile, just kind of honing in there. I mean, depending on how many times you get to race here, just kind of talk about the thought with that. I mean, it seems like Mobile's on a good carry of momentum. With Dina getting that thing started, but right now it seems like, man, there's a lot of people fired up about everything happening at MIS.
Yeah, Eddie's he's a good guy. He's a good friend. I mean, I can call him right now. He'll pick up the phone. I'd like to see Mobile strive and have the car counts, have the late models there, of course. Our local program that Eddie has is pretty big. But I would like to see a little bit more late model racing there. Not just crate cars, more super races. I think we have one there this year. I'd like to see 3 or 4. So, but yeah, it's I think he's doing a fine job with it.
Yep, absolutely. On the rebound, definitely right there. So, Dustin, talk about everyone. You guys, you mentioned it, talking about focusing on supers this year. Talk about everybody. I mean, your family, your dad. There's a lot of people that make this stuff happen for you guys.
Yeah, my dad. He's a huge. I wouldn't be doing it without him. Let's just say that. And Alex, he's come on board the past 2 years. So I'm glad to have him back. We've had him back in the past and had a lot of success with him. And I think we're going to keep him. He's probably one of the best I've had for sure. And we get along, and he understands me as a driver and understand him as a crew chief. All the people that come on board, SA Recycling, Hooney's Auto Sales, Johnny's RV, my dad, of course, my business, construction business, just everybody that, lays a hand on my car. I just want to give a huge thanks to them for sure.
Yeah. And I got to ask you, man, I think one of the coolest things that I saw this year, and I think I'm going to be a part of this with all of you guys, the old days of the double header. You get Pensacola on a Friday, you're going to get to go to Mobile on Saturday, dude. That's a good hit right there.
Yeah, when I first started running the pro cars, I think Pensacola and Mobile had a double header weekend.
Yeah.
Once a year or twice a year. It was pretty. It was a lot, because you would go to Pensacola on Friday and run, and hopefully you don't get tore up. And if you did, you'd have to haul butt back to the shop, get everything fixed, and it'd be 3 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, I'm glad to see Mobile and Pensacola, working together. So we'll see. I hope this year turns out great for Mobile. They really need it, and I would like to see it strive.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, my man. All right, Dustin, thanks for taking some time, man. Like I said, you're in the shop. You're busting your tail right there. So look forward to seeing you soon, my man. Say hello to the lady, the kids, and your parents, and we'll see you soon, my man.
Thank you, man.
You got it. Take care. There he is, Dustin Smith, as he was coined by by a Texas racer, as a matter of fact, the local hero. And that's all good, because he's a hell of a lot more than a local hero, because the dude goes out and does his own thing all around the region. Once again, this is the Dirty Air Racing Show. Thank you all for being a part of the program here on a monumental Thursday, as we've talked about, for short track racers. And again, I do want to continue to tell you folks, give me your tracks. Give me your tracks, man. It is a free forum. It was like, I got an email from, it was actually another person from a racetrack around the country. And it's like, so what's it going to cost to get my promoter on? I said, it's going to cost your promoter 15 minutes of his time to come on to my show and talk about what you guys are doing. Dirty Air Racing Show at gmail.com to be a part of all of that. The 2024 local track spotlight. I would love, absolutely love, to talk about your racetrack. One more time before we sign out of here, you see me with the sharp looking gear right here, the Dirty Air Racing Show polos that I'm wearing. There's t-shirts, there's caps. Next time I see you at a racetrack, ask me for one, because when I roll up in my car, I've got a trunk full of those, and I would love to put you in some Dirty Air gear. And this is all provided by my partners at On Demand Shirts in San Antonio, Texas. How about a word from them? And one final word from my other partners who presented the Bubba Pollard interview this evening. It's Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet GM Performance out of Brandon, Mississippi. Dirty Air putting this one in the oven. And what a show it has been here on your Thursday night. Great conversation. We started off talking to Bubba Pollard about his massive move, getting that race with Junior Motorsports. And you know, it was something I did want to talk about on the show but it kind of got overshadowed right there. Speaking of Junior Motorsports, Dale Jr. not going to be a part of the NBC crew this year, opting to go to in 2025. When we talk about streaming, we talk about streaming all the time. Well, Dale Jr. is going the way of streaming in 2025 as he will make the move over there with one of the new groups, the Amazon group, and everything that's going to be going on right there. So I think that's a really big move when it comes to NASCAR media stuff. So looking forward to see how all of that shakes out and what NBC does there, because that's a big hole to fill right there. And I've had different ideas on maybe why he's doing that, but I saw some comments from him yesterday, whatever. But Amazon, Warner Brothers, Discovery, that's where he's going. That's where he's going. That's what he's going to be doing in 2025. And apparently we won't see him on air live in 2024 on NBC. When Alan Dietz was on, we talked about the United Auto Racing Alliance, kind of a shift right there where we've had obviously with the Southern Super Series and the ASA Stars National Tour, and now this happening to where Ricky Brooks kind of focusing back. Ricky Brooks, now at Cordeal, being a huge part as the GM in charge of the operations there. So we're seeing all of that move around. So all of that's happening. I did want to talk about one thing before I get out of here. Is Boo Carlisle was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and talking about his Star Superstock Tour. And I saw that now there's a partnership there where he has partnered up with 5-Star Bodies. And I think 5-Star Bodies, which is a huge part of short track racing, because, you look at those 1988 Monte Carlo SS bodies, and when it comes to the 81 Camaro body, if you're looking for an aftermarket body, it's going to be 5-Star that's going to produce you the best body. And you look at what Boo is doing there with that tour. Not a better partner right there. And I know at this point, it's more gift certificate type of things or whatever, maybe set up right there, contingencies and all that. But I think that's a great business move right there for Boo and that group, where they're partnering up with those folks, because that's something that's going to help that style of car and that group with what they're doing. Also, the Cars Tour, Southern National Motorsports Park, they get rolling. So you got lots of racing happening this weekend. And again, the Alabama 200, you can catch it live right here. Then you got the open wheels as well. It's a great double header that you're going to find on Racing America this weekend. And like I always tell you guys, if you can't get to a local racetrack, jump in on Racing America. And Alan was talking about it, and it's not one of those things to where, let me tell you, I subscribe to every dadgum streamer that you're going to find. I subscribe to every one of them. Hell, I pay for this one. I pay to be a subscriber on Racing America, and I absolutely continue to do that because I'm a race fan. You can look around like Alan was talking about with what you get on Racing America. You pay that. Yeah, there's some pay-per-view events. There's some different things that are going to cost you a little bit of money, but still, it's the best bang for your buck. But all the other ones, whether it be Flow, whether it be imca.tv, I mean, whether it be whoever it is, now we've got raceon.com in Texas that have rebranded themselves. You're going to find great racing, and it's money that's well spent, and that always goes back to the racetrack because all of these streamers have that in place to where that's the way that works. So again, like I've said, if you can't get to a racetrack, get yourself on that app, get yourself on that streamer, and find yourself some short track racing. Support it. And I tell you what, March 31st, Bubba Pollard at Richmond. We're having some kind of party. I don't care where you are. I'm in Texas. All my friends in Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, you name it. We're going to have like a virtual party and root our dude on in the 88 car. Great conversation that we have had this evening here on Dirty Air. Again, the podcast always available at racingamerica.tv. And of course, if you're looking for the audio podcast, you will find that. Just search Dirty Air with Rodney Rodriguez, and you'll find that at iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, not Streaker, Spreaker, Spotify, all of those spots. They are all right there. Episode 1 all the way up to whatever number this is right now, because I can't keep up. I know this is season number 3 on Racing America. Thanks to all of our guests for checking in. Bubba Pollard on the spot, being a part of it. Alan Dietz talking some great stuff. Taylor Kitchen, my new go-to NASCAR expert, and of course, the local hero. He's local there out of Mobile, but he's a hell of a lot more than a Mobile hero. He is just a hero right there when it comes to short track racing. This has been Dirty Air. It is where the short trackers gather each and every Thursday right here on Racing America, live at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Guys, we will see you next Thursday. Enjoy your weekend of racing. Clean air is good. Times like this, dirty air just a tad bit better. Y'all all be well.